right. So our next question says, I couldn't believe it when Chan saw Chris for himself. What do you think was going through his mind at that moment? I think he was just like, oh, that must be him. He finally got a glimpse. And I like Karina said earlier, he wasn't expecting him to be on a bike. That's probably why they haven't been able to find him so far. So,
do you have a car? Are you? You have a trunk.
I think he was a channel. Like, okay, I'm on your A now. I got you. So he's ready.
You know what you look like.
Yeah, to put those plans.
Right.
He gonna put the paws on the baby.
My question is, where was the surveillance team that was supposed to be watching anyways? Like, they should have seen Chris coming a mile away and know where the hell, They
were in the parking lot looking for a car.
Like, hold on, what'd you say that license plate was? Like,
it's a bike. It's green and black. Look like a 12-year-old boy's bike.
I don't know why every time I'm thinking of that witch in Wizard of Oz at the beginning, her on that bike, riding so fast where she gotta go. I'm just picturing Chris on that kind of bike, ride like that. I don't know why. It's so stupid. It's in my head. But I'm sure Chan was thinking like, the fuck? Because he's looking at this guy that's like fighting the air and throwing shit. And he's like, wait a minute. After staring at them crazy, and then, he put two and two together, like, okay. I don't know if Chris is supposed to be white, but in my head, he's a white boy. So I know he's probably thinking, like, this white boy over here calling. What the hell? That must be this Chris guy. And then, Malia's back is turned. He should have made some little signal to his team. Get that nigga. What the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the one. Get him. Go put him in a warehouse so we could
get him out.
We're gonna deal with him later, and give him the ones and twos. But that's probably what he was thinking. What was going through his mind? Like, oh my god, that's that nigga. Okay, now I got a face. I know
his eyes got big for a moment when he seen Chris punch in the air and
like what?
Right. That's why it's one thing to be staring, but to stare and then to bust out into all these dramatics. That's why I said he should have told the team, like, yo, get that nigga.
That jump.
Take him back to the warehouse so we can deal with him properly. Like they did like they did her daddy. I mean, you gonna beat the mess out of her daddy, like walk home or ride home, I guess, on his bike.
Right.
Mess out of the pops. So, that's probably what was going through his mind at that moment. Was like, the hell? Because Chris was out there wilding.
He was. It would have been alarming. Could you imagine, this person who you've been, spending so much time with and courting, and they're like, no, I want you to make it official. So there's no question. You're like, okay, we did our little thug fizzle. We together. He my man, right? Or she my girl. For real, for real. And then you turn around, everybody's so happy, and you have a sea of happy faces congratulating you on your anniversary or on your engagement, which that was quite funny because some people were like, oh, they're engaged to be married. And they were just like, yeah, we're going to let them just, okay, thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the wedding soon. Yeah. We're not even going to correct you. And then you see the angry face.
No time soon.
That's okay. Thank you. I mean, you see one angry face in the crowd and it's kind of far and he's just fighting himself. Like that's mental health problems. Like you got some issues, maybe even some demons who are antagonizing you at this point because he was losing it. And what if Malia was just like, okay, Chris, you've gone through so much to have me. I'm ready to give myself to you. He'd probably fight her just on principle. Like, what? No, right. That's not the plan. He probably wouldn't even want her to willingly give herself away. Like, I give my heart to you, Chris. Mm-hmm. He'd probably be like, no, because I have it set up in my mind. And we're going to do it this way. And I'm going to force you to love me after I put you in a cabin, in some woods. And you're going to be there for a year and pregnant. Chained to a bed, though. So
girl, you like some Hills Have Eyes stuff. Remember he kept that girl in there so he could keep raping her? Whatever that thing was.
Girl, I would never with that movie.
Kept her pregnant.
Never. Is that what happened? I haven't seen that movie in so many years. I was done with that movie.
He kept that girl captive, whatever that monster or whatever it was. He kept her captive and kept her pregnant.
God would have just had to understand I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
live
like,
through
now,
this.
Lord,
Give me a shard of glass. We going right up in here. It's
right?
over.
I'm like, now, God,
done.
I already went through my hell.
But
You
now
better
you
let
have
me
no
in the
message. They do. You
plane.
killed yourself. You know why I killed myself. Don't do this to
Right?
me.
Like, don't do
I
this to
want
me. Don't
into
make
the
me
I
live
want
this.
in. No, I haven't been perfect, but I want in.
And why you calling folks out about why I killed myself? Where was your ass at? Because I was calling you.
Right.
Let's talk
I'm
about
sitting there
it.
being raped by an 8-foot monster that's putting me through the
It's not gonna
walls
happen.
while waiting for me.
It's
And
not
you
gonna
just,
happen.
well, it's all in the plan. What
I had to do
plan,
what nobody else would do. Nobody else was showing up, so I showed up with a knife and I took myself out. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what he was doing. He was keeping her captive, keeping her pregnant, and yeah.
Girl, and them ugly kids, my God, they probably came out with all kind of
Them, they
I'm not
were.
doing this. No,
So
no, God, no. Mm-mm. You talking about a fear? Oh my God, no, no, no. Talking about a nightmare. That's it. I'm horrified now just thinking about it.
like that's
I'm
horrible for anybody, but girl, that look on your face, you like a fear.
You guys have no clue. Like that movie psychologically messes with me. I can't ever watch it again. When I first saw it, we were in the movie theater. Me and T went and saw it. And the women just about rioted in that movie. They was screaming.
Oh yeah.
Everybody lost it. People were demanding their money back. And then when they were doing part 2, a lot of people was like, absolutely not, because what y'all pulled off on us on part 1, I won't be a recipient of that extra.
I was so blessed to have watched that at home, like where I was able to like stop it. I could not imagine being in a movie theater with the extra loud. Because I mean, he went to town on her.
And the men were laughing. Women shut that shit down. Women were like, no. Yeah. I'm telling you, women lost it. The men thought it was okay until every woman in that movie theater was like, fuck that. Like, we was really losing. Like, that's not cool, bro. Like, that's not. Like, y'all should have had a warning. Something. Because this was not okay for that monster, that mutant to be on top of her. No. I will take myself out, and God better let me in. You killed you. You sinned. No, you sinned. No, let me in.
Right.
You gonna have to cut all of this out because we didn't win crazy. Now we gonna demand our way into heaven. I'm
rioting. I'm out the gate. I'm fighting everybody else coming in here. No, I was here first. Y'all don't know what I've been through. I couldn't imagine seeing that on the big screen though. Like,
right, it's horrible. Geez. I can't leave. Like, a lot of women were like, "I'm leaving." I think one lady got up and stormed out. And some men were laughing, and other women were like, "No, F that." Women were really like, and it was a lot of white women in there because, I mean, of course, we're out here in Washington. So I was glad they weren't just like, "Jeff, stop!" Like, I was like, they was like really getting batted. Like, this isn't okay. This is wrong, And so people were like going the hell off, and at the end, like the manager had to come out, and you're like, "We're really sorry." So maybe everybody's movie theater, showing wasn't like that, but baby, ours got attention.
Well, that was loud. That should have been, they have the censored version of movies, and then they have the uncut.
Yes.
They used to have.
Yeah, that should have been uncut.
The uncut version.
They should have had, no, honey. Them people in the movie theater. And I was just like, I felt dirty. I wanted to go home. I wanted to take a bath. Like, I didn't want to be touched. I felt so violated. But I think that's the Pisces in me. Like, we are so empathetic toward other people. We're empath, and we just feel other people's pain. I felt dirty. I felt so, I just remember being in that chair, and the chair was cold, and I was like, I just want to go home. I just wanted to put the biggest blanket over myself and just, I felt nasty. I don't know why I felt Pisces. I felt like I had to break. Okay, I just didn't want to do it no more.
Yeah, a lot of my family are empaths.
I'll never watch that movie again. I can't.
Never. Nope.
We got to come up with a top 5, of the one and dones. Some you watch one time was like
Precious. I'll never
Precious,
watch that again.
That's another one I can't see again.
For Color Girls.
What?
Yeah.
When he killed those
kids.
For
Color Girls. Girl, yeah.
I can't watch that again.
What Color Girls?
For
Color Girls. Yes.
That whole movie was trash. That man was gay, and then he had HIV, and that woman was no, he killed them kids, And I was like, no. He was whooping the mama. Yeah, that's another movie I'll never see again. Yeah, so we already got 3 so far. From Color Girls, Precious, Hills Have Eyes.
Girls, let's get the thing. Let's brainstorm. No, I'm just playing. I don't know. Yeah. Definitely.
People talking about some Precious was so inspiring. My mom was like, what is this mess? Because she rented it and she was like, it was the most worst movie. And I was like, I didn't understand why people were telling people to go watch that. Everything about that movie was painful. So it was painful how she looked at herself. Everything was just painful. It was painful what was done to her, how she was beaten. Then she had her daddy's baby. Like, there ain't nothing okay about none of the it was a real story. And then she died of HIV too. I'm like, we shouldn't have even told this story. Like where's that child at? You know, like, I'm like, can we give the money from the proceeds of their pain and suffering? Can we give that to them? You know, I know the mom is gone, but my God, even the grandma had AIDS and her skin color was starting to change. So I was like, you know what? I'll never watch this. I'll never watch this again. Girl, you're going to have to edit all this out.
So depressing. I was just sad. I'm like,
very
it's supposed to be inspiring.
There was nothing inspiring about that. That was a lie.
Nothing. Yeah, it's not like, oh, Precious overcome all this, and now she's like Bill Gates.
Right. Now, I feel like if she would have showed up, it would have been a boss and would have been a CEO of some major company and found love, and her mom died, and she was like, ha ha, give her the finger in her grave, and went on to marry somebody. She ended up contracting HIV too. She couldn't read. And I was just like, okay, so she got her GED, and I was feeling good about like, okay, maybe this is about to turn around. And then it didn't, and she died. And I was like, oh no. Now we got a baby out here whose mama is the sister and the mama. The granddaddy is the granddaddy and he's the daddy. Like, this ain't what we trying to do. I was so defeated after that movie. I was like, please don't ever recommend nothing else for me. If it's got to be this type of smut and filth and satanic garbage, I don't want to be involved.
They, but people did talk that movie. That was the only reason I saw it. Like, oh, it's so inspiring, and it's such a great movie, and it's important.
They said the same thing about For Color Girls too.
Yeah, and then I'm watching it. I'm like, why is this inspiring? Like, what? But I was already invested, so I had to.
You know what's a really good movie? But like everybody need their ass whooped and beat. Why did I get married? And they let that nigga bring his mistress and everybody at the table.
Girl, that is.
That would have been us. That would not have been us.
Girl,
wouldn't have been us.
Yeah,
wouldn't have been us. Wouldn't have been us. Nigga would have got his ass fucked up. I would have turned that shit over. Would have whooped his ass, whooped that bitch's ass. Then I would have beat Sheila's ass. Cause why you be letting these niggas treat you like that? Why you letting people treat you like that, Sheila?
Girl, I was so mad when Sheila drove up that mountain.
For you.
I was like, and you gonna drive up there? Hell no, I'm staying home.
I was like, this is not realistic because most black women aren't gonna go for that. Now, men might be staying out of the business, you know what I'm saying? Women are not gonna. I'm not breaking bed with this bitch.
Right.
It's like,
and the way, wasn't his name Mike too, girl? And the way Mike laughed at her when she tried to put on that lingerie for him, the way he laughed at her, oh, I wanted to take his neck. Oh, I wanted him bad.
Look, oh, you got nerve. Okay, sir.
Girl.
So let's finish this last question so we can close it out and get back to our chit chat. Because we're going to keep going and going.
Right,
we had a good old time too.
So,
who has the next question? Alicia, is that yours?
Me. I got the last one. It looks like, yeah. Okay, so our final question is, it is clear that Chris is super bold and crazy. He was actually fighting the air. What do you think Chan will do to try and stop him from harming Malia? He followed them on their date on a bike. He is very dangerous. Yes, Lord.
The audacity.
He is. That takes a lot of dedication. I mean, in a car is one thing, but I mean, it's like, and then my thing is, how did Chris know? Because remember, Mr. Impression got the restaurant open like hours early. So it's like, it wasn't even like he was there during business hours and saw them on their date and having a good time, whatever. But, it says, what do you think? Chan will try to do to stop. He already put a tracking device on her. Probably end up kidnapping a nigga, taking him to the warehouse, giving them ones and twos. If he don't take them out altogether, Chris might come up missing. They are triads. So I'm not sure what he will do, but I know he's going to have to do something because Chris ain't going to stop. I mean, it's clear that Negro like, okay, you know what? I don't care. He don't showed up at the girl's graduation. He showed up at her crib. He ain't gonna stop, and then every time he's going crazy, and then it's escalating. So he's gonna do something, and Chan's gonna have to step in. I'm not sure exactly what steps are going to be taken, whether he's gonna come up missing, be found in a river somewhere, or tied up in a warehouse, and beat within an inch of his life. But yeah, Chan is gonna have to step in and do something because Chris already got his mindset that Malia is his, and whether she want to be or not. And this is why baristas of America, you don't, or actually consumers of America.
Shout out to the baristas of America.
Right. You guys need to understand that if a woman is she's just being nice. She hasn't planned her life with you, and you don't own her because she gave you a little smile or whatever. PSA. Folk need to
Baristas of America.
Baristas of America. All right.
Just make everybody's coffee the same. Don't do nothing extra. He fell in love trying to make coffee extra. He fell in love.
Somebody pretty smile at you, and all of a sudden, you don't plan y'all life together. No. No. They just need their coffee. Yeah. So just make the coffee. That's all.
Just make the coffee. Speaking of coffee,
Let's make the coffee anime.
Just make the coffee. Just make a damn coffee.
You get killed by some triads.
What a turn of events! But yeah, I hope. We know Chris is done for. It is just all about how what Chan's going to come up with, and I think he's going to be really clever because now he's pursuing a relationship with Malia that's going to bring him out into the public eye more. So he's going to have to be more creative in how he handles this and make sure it doesn't get tied back to him because of that. And I have a few theories. I think I've shared them with Karina. Like, ooh, what if he does it like this? What if he does it like that? And so I'm hoping that. Because he has to get rid of Mike too at some point too, right? So I'm like, maybe down the road, he can kind of use Mike to, or set him up, take out Chris and pin it on Mike. I go through a few theories in my head of how I want to see it played out, but we're definitely going to see some Chan on Chris action, hopefully sooner than later.
It's got to be.
But I was laughing because I was just like, how did he figure out how to get to the restaurant? Because even if he's at Malia's house, like, the pedaling you got to do to follow a car. Like, oh my God. I'm like, Chris out there, he is dedicated,
Very much so.
Again, it's just like, man, I go back and forth.
Strong.
I'm telling you, Chris is Chan in that different tax bracket because Chan is just as dedicated. He got his own folks, and who knows what kind of string backwater backcountry Chris found out how to do from his crazy family. And he got everything set up across town that doesn't involve technology because he's from the old country. He got some stuff set up too for sure. So we'll be seeing more of that soon. But yeah, I can't wait for Chan on Chris action.
Oh, Chan on Chris. Yeah, Chan has to do something at this point. And like Curie say, I mean, that's dedication to be on a bike. So he must have been watching Malia's place probably all night. He must have left the graduation and said, okay, well, she can go out to dinner and have fun with her family, but I'm gonna be waiting here at the house for her. So it's like. He must have already been there just waiting. And when he saw Chan's car, he's like, what's that? Who was that? He probably, at this point, he might have, if he's been following her for a while, then he would definitely see like, okay, yeah, she's been going out with him and he's been picking her up. So yeah, he knows that this is a thing. But see, Chan's cars keep changing. That's one of the things, like, he'll pick her up and it's like, oh, I have this car now too. And she's like, oh, look at you, Zaddy, out here with all these cores. Honey, he got cores for days. So, he might have been like, okay, it's that guy again. And been like, okay, I need to follow them. But again, that's a lot of pedaling. And even though, like, the location wise, it might have been only like a 3.5 mile distance from her place to the restaurant. That's still 3 miles of hardcore pedaling.
Yeah. Yeah.
But still, trying to keep up and, trying to think to yourself. And I'm telling you, he probably was like, you know what? This a-hole was probably taking her, somewhere based on the location and where we're heading. Probably going to a waterfront restaurant. He just seems like the type of guy who throws his money at the cat. And he wouldn't be wrong. He is throwing the money at that cat, baby. So anyways, I throwing money, baby. Maybe he figured it out from there. Because I'm like, how do you keep it up though? That's what I want to know. Maybe he got legs still at this point. So Chris is gonna have to be taken care of. Chan's gonna have to do something. I think it's one thing to know, because Chan has had, people send him information and they know that his real name is and his backstory and stuff. And so they know he has problems. But it's another thing to know somebody has a problem and then to see it for yourself in action. It's like, it's more shocking for him to catch this guy just losing himself. Like, because I feel like if he was any closer, he would have cussed them both out and probably threw that bike at them. And like, and Malia, you're coming home with me. Probably would have taken her out to the woods to a tent because there ain't no house. So, so you got to be tied up to a tree. Like, nobody has time for this. So he knows now he has to do something.
How you kidnap somebody on a bike?
That's what I'm saying.
That's going to be some participation there. That's not going to be. It would require participation.
Yeah, Uber, honey, it's coming. I need the trunk. I need that trunk space. Don't ask no questions. She with me, baby.
With her over.
I need to have a bike rack. So, could you imagine if the Uber driver was in on it? Okay, I mean, give me extra. I was like,
hello, Uber, and the Uber get your ass in that back seat and push her in there. And this is where we going. And if I was the driver, I'd be like, okay, I am minding my business.
You got my coffee. You got my cheesy bread. Okay.
You got my cheesy bread.
No cheesy bread.
In the morning, we want cheesy bread.
Without the marinara or garlic sauce? Wow.
Now you got me wanting some cheesy bread.
Wow. I'm not doing it. Y'all got me ordering cheesy bread last week. I'm not doing it. I'm not. Matter of fact, I'm making sausage.
I'm not even gonna go and investigate.
I gotta go investigate.
I heard something was like, it sounded like somebody was tapping on my window, but I've been having some little crazy stuff happen. Yeah,
stay on camera so we can see. Just stay on camera.
I've been having some crazy stuff happen lately. Whatever, that's fine. Well, any more thoughts on chapter 34 before we end this out, ladies?
I don't think y'all answered the question though.
I thought we did, didn't we?
Oh, okay.
What's been happening here is that we've been having such a good time talking that all of our conversations are just running and bleeding all over each other. So that's the problem.
Oh.
So we do, people. Honey, Tuesdays, baby, we turn up together. Okay? Tuesday, turn up. All right. All right, all. That's all for this episode of Rose City, the After Show. We hope you enjoyed our discussion on episode 34 at Table for Two. Don't forget to tune in next week. We will be diving into episode 35. It's the interruptions for me. This amazing story. That's the name of the title. It's the interruptions for me. So we'll see what happens at what's being interrupted. We're sure you'll be hooked on this story. We got stories coming out every week, and Miss Nikita is out here doing her thug bizzle. So definitely check out all of her new books that she has. You guys are going to be set. You guys are going to be like, I got books for days to keep me busy. We love hearing from our viewers. So, whatever you guys want to, say to us, come onto the Facebook page. Like, I want to see y'all. Come ask us some questions. All the links will be provided in the description. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week in Rose City. Bye-bye.